Live from WOWT, this is a First Alert 6 Weather Day. Starts now.
And it is good to have you with us on this Friday morning. Of course, it is a First Alert weather day as we begin to prepare for the day heading into the weekend. I'm Erin Hartley.
I'm Cerise Cole. Jarrett Lansford, Senior Chief Meteorologist, Rusty Lord, the man of the hour today. You have some big concerns about these icy conditions. All is well right now, folks. It's not right now that's a problem. It'll be later this afternoon where we could see some icy conditions.
It's the drive home from work that could be problematic. We're not just going to get instantly slammed with a layer of ice for everybody, but as soon as 4 o'clock, there's going to be patchy drizzle moving through, and we're not going to be at 32 degrees. So that's a problem. Doesn't mean every single road's coated in ice right off the bat. Road conditions could vary, but we only go to 31 for the high today. And you know how it goes. With drizzle and temperatures below 32, that's how you get ice. So we have to watch for that after 4 o'clock. You get a thin little layer, and that's all it takes. So freezing drizzle starting as early as 4 o'clock will just become more widespread into the evening and overnight. I don't think we warm above 32 until sometime after midnight. Now, models suggest 1 o'clock maybe. Farther north you live, you could have to wait till the morning hours tomorrow for that to happen. So I think many slick roads through the overnight hours, there's no one time where it instantly gets better. Every road condition is going to vary, and then we'll try to basically change the freezing drizzle over to drizzle into the morning hours and maybe even a few rain showers as well. So let's look at the icing potential. Through 6 o'clock, you can see there's not a ton. It could just be a thin glaze in some spots, especially near and south of I-80. You're probably okay north of I-80 through about 6. It takes a little while for this to move in from the south. So by 9 o'clock, there you go, a thin glaze over a good portion of the area. And then you got to think about people coming back from Lincoln, going after the volleyball game down there. People want to head down and enjoy that. You might have some dicey road conditions afterwards. Again, road conditions could vary. Interstate system with brine on it might be okay, while side roads aren't. And there could be patchy slick spots on the interstate even with the brine. It's very difficult. Ice is a tricky thing, and it can change road conditions. The bridges might be slick while the road that has dirt under it isn't. And that's how things can change from point to point to point as you're driving along. And the ice potential continues right into the very early morning hours of Saturday, especially for counties to the north, as everybody just sees this move from south to north through the area. Bigger ice accumulation to the east. And I tell you what, that's where the greatest risk is of getting more than 1/10 of an inch of ice. In our western Iowa counties and east, see a high probability of that in these spots, and then still possible north of the Platte River on the Nebraska side. So that is why everybody is under what we call a winter weather advisory. This can vary a little bit as far as definition goes, but it gets used for icing events. Up to 1/10 of an inch of ice for most of the area. But there could be spots north of I-80 that get a little bit more. And likely to get more in an ice storm warning farther to the east. Des Moines, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, points in between. We're talking 1/4 of an inch of ice here. You mix a little wind in, that's how you get power outages. I don't think we're going to have power outage level ice, but there could be a few that combined with some wind gusts that pick up a little bit during the day that could cause some problems. This is where the temperature's at right now. This is the problem. We need to tack on 19 degrees to these numbers before the drizzle arrives, and I just don't think we can do that. With the clouds that are moving in, wind chills are down near 0. We go through this hour by hour, and you can see just how it plays out. By 8 o'clock, we're still around 13, and you got an east wind. Clouds and an east wind, there's no worse way to warm up. It just doesn't happen very quickly. We need some help from some warmer air actually moving in from the south. The air that we have just isn't going to warm itself. We have to drag in some warmer air given the conditions today. So by noon, we're into the lower 20s, quite a few clouds around, and then into the afternoon, we can get to about 30 in several spots by 3 o'clock. Early signs of maybe a little patchy drizzle. I think that's just a tad too early. We got to saturate things a little bit more, but from 4 to 5, we see a few more. There you go. It kind of lights up a little bit more with the patchy drizzle, freezing drizzle, maybe a little sleet, but this is most likely freezing drizzle. And then there's more of it. It won't be steady right off the bat, but any wave that moves through puts a little glaze on things. And then you got to hope the brine can eat away at that a little bit. 7 to 8 to 9 o'clock. We're still not above 32, folks. 31 in Omaha. Same in Lincoln. It's probably sometime after midnight when this warmer air moves in. And when I say warmer, we're talking 2 or 3 degrees. It gets us up above 32, and then hopefully a little rain and drizzle can move in and kind of help melt off the ice that's on the ground. But notice there's still spots overnight into early Saturday morning that are trying to ice up a little bit on the north edge of this rain for early on Saturday by 6 a.m. when we're right around 33 degrees. So that is what we're looking at here as we go through this stretch and make our way into Saturday. It's likely going to be a scenario where it's not even all that great in some spots to start off Saturday, the way things are looking.
That's a little bit different than what we would have thought.
It's mostly north of Omaha, so I think in Omaha by early Saturday morning we can at least get to 32.
Okay. Now beyond Saturday in the mornings and then into Sunday and beyond that, looking much better than just this kind of weird stretch.
That's the thing. It's just basically tonight while the sun is down. Once the sun rises tomorrow, we're not going to have a ton of it, but at least it'll be helping to warm us up a little bit. There's still some rain potential in the morning. You see 33 to start off on Saturday. Keep in mind, though, north of I-80, there could still be some spots that are below 32 as this warmer air keeps trying to surge in. So up to 36 or so for the high tomorrow. That'll be it. It's still cold, but at least it's warm enough to keep things from icing up. 46 Sunday, 47 on Monday, 41 on Tuesday, and then some 30s and perhaps some colder air by the weekend before Christmas. But you don't see many good opportunities there to get a little snow before Christmas.
Okay.
This might be the biggest weather event we have for a little while. And, again, a little ice goes a long way. Luckily, we're not dealing with it for the morning commute.
All right.
Good news.
We got to get to Jarrett because he's running around. There's some new traffic trouble. It involves a semi on Highway 370, near Highway 370.
Yeah, it's right as you're making your merger onto 144th with the stalled semi. We get these cold temperatures. Sometimes this becomes a problem. And unfortunately, it's stalled right in the middle of the road.
Oh, no.
So let's talk about how you work your way around this and make your way to your destination if you're driving in Sarpy County here. So obviously, the road's closed. If you're trying to make your way there, you cannot get around a semi that's entirely blocking the traffic lanes as you're heading northbound on 144. There's where we're looking at this issue. And I can show you what it looks like. There it is. We've gotten the semi itself there. It looks like they're pushing traffic onto the shoulder to get through there if it needs to get through there, but the trailer still very much in the road. So you can see emergency crews doing some traffic control here too. So watch that area. That's an area where we're still looking at kind of an evolving situation. You get pushed over onto the right shoulder, or you can make your way onto 370 and then head your way north a little bit further to the east from there. Another area that we have been watching has been this 480 and 80 interchange. That's where we had a crash that was in place earlier. That is now cleared, thankfully. But we had a big buildup of backups. That, thankfully, has now gone entirely away. So good news for Bellevue drivers. I know a lot of people were looking at maybe using 13th as your alternate route. That also looks good. So now you have options. You can use the JFK, you can use 13th, and either one right now looks like it's in good shape. We zoom things out, you'll notice that really the biggest issue that we have is right there with that trailer that's still in the road on northbound 144th. And we'll keep an eye on that situation, keep you updated with how things continue to move throughout the metro, but especially right there where that is certainly a problem with that in the middle of the road.
Notice it was an Amazon trailer too, so a lot of holiday gifts probably. We got to get that thing going.
We've got a couple of reasons to be concerned. Right?
My wife could have 12 boxes on it.
All right, Jared, we'll keep it updated. You'll keep us updated. Thank you. Well, in Lincoln now, the 2 measures on medical marijuana are now law. Nebraskans voted overwhelmingly to pass both last month. Governor Pillen's proclamation allows the Liquor Commission and some appointed members to start creating the framework for regulating medical marijuana in Nebraska. Pillen's office tells us his position on the issue hasn't changed, and issues regarding the validity of the petitions remain.
Also in Lincoln, Nebraska's 12-week abortion ban is now written into the state constitution. Now, with that, Nebraska becomes the first state in the nation to enshrine abortion restrictions. Governor Jim Pillen signed the proclamation yesterday. Voters passed the abortion initiative back in November. There are exceptions for rape, incest, and if the patient's life is in danger.
Well, now for an update from the First Alert 6 Safety Desk. I'm joined by Maria Cade with information regarding online task scams.
I know, scams, they come about all the time, especially during the holidays, though. We've been talking about it here at the Safety Desk. There is a big uptick, and this new research is finding that those specific scams make up about 40% of reported scams that are involving jobs. So a new report from the Federal Trade Commission is finding that people are falling for them in record numbers now. The FTC says these scams offer to pay you for doing trivial work online, doing things like interacting with posts, maybe liking them or rating restaurants, but that promised money, it never came. Also, some of the scammers, they're asking for deposits ahead of time, and the victims who give the money, they're never getting that money back. So 20,000 people reported incidents in the first half of 2024, so just up until July, compared to 5,000 for the entire year for 2023. So that number is going to go up too, especially as we, continue into the holiday season. But the FTC says the damage could be much more widespread, of course. A lot of the majority of frauds actually go unreported, so there could be even bigger numbers than we're going to end up getting just because people aren't going out and letting other people know that it happened to them. Oh my goodness. All right, well, speaking of the holidays, you mentioned, you have some new safety tips for those of us who are wrapping up those last minute shopping gifts online. I know you mentioned the Amazon truck that's been installed too. This has to do with a lot of it. This time of year, it's the busiest time for travel that we're seeing in the sky, on the roads as well, of course. And you want to get those packages, and it takes a big team to get those packages and gifts to you. Of course, we want to make sure that everything is being done safely. So there is a new campaign from the Governor Highway Safety Association and Amazon that we want to first alert you to. It's highlighting all the ways to stay safe while driving during these busy holiday times. So I spoke with two of the leaders on the project. They say that you're going to want to remember 3 different things while traveling that have to do with getting your packages. First, you want to slow down, reduce your driving speeds to recognize what's happening around you. Second, make sure you stay focused on the road. Put down any distractions that could impair your ability to drive. Finally, you want to be on the lookout for those pedestrians around you, just regular people, but of course, delivery drivers. They're out walking, trying to get those packages to you safely.
So if we think about these 3 things, it can really make a huge difference for everybody, including ourselves, so that, we're getting to where we need to go safely. We're not stressed. We're really focused on, everybody out there.
So when those drivers come up, you want to remember to keep your driveway clear for the delivery drivers. Keep a light on if you're expecting any late night packages too that can help them see. And if you have any pets, you want to make sure that they're maybe in the house. If you have a fence, put them inside so that they're not getting to the delivery drivers and maybe getting in the way of them doing their job.
That's good advice. Also, the packages are being delivered earlier. I think Rusty had one at like 4:30 in the morning, so make sure the lights are on for the early deliveries.
They're coming out at all times of the year.
All right, Maria Cade reporting from the First Alert 6 Safety Desk as always. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.
All right, the time now is 7:16. Of course, it is a 6 First Alert weather day today. Really, the big impact is going to be later on tonight. 4 o'clock and after is what people should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, it may not start as a big wall of freezing drizzle in your area, but it's going to be patchy and then fill in as we go after 4 o'clock, like Aaron said here. 31 for the high today, and that may happen closer to midnight tonight. And we could be below that number for a good chunk of the day. So freezing drizzle after 4 o'clock becomes widespread tonight. I don't think we get above 32 until after midnight, and that's going to lead to many, many slick roads. Now, this is the odds of getting more than 1/10 of an inch of ice. This is where you really start to have some bigger impacts after amounts higher than this, and that's going to be Des Moines and east, maybe in our west central Iowa counties where the biggest ice totals could end up being. But it's still possible over here into parts of eastern Nebraska. Now, everybody else is going to try to get close to that amount. This is the odds of getting over that amount. Ice storm warning to our east because of that. Most of us 1/10 of an inch or less, but some areas north of I-80 could go a little bit more than that as we go through the overnight hours. So right now we got clouds moving in, temperature of 13 degrees, wind chill of 0, and a bit of an east breeze. None of that is warm at all, and it's going to be a struggle to warm today, up to about 30 by 3, 4 o'clock. So I think the kids can get home okay from school, but any hour after 4, you're staying at work, you got issues where some freezing drizzle comes into play with temperatures upper 20s to around 30. So the later you go, the more of this will be on the roads, and then road conditions will start to vary a little bit. The winds out of the southeast could still be gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour. So if we had some bigger ice amounts, this could cause some power issues. There might be some flickers with it, so watch out later on tonight with that. Here's the clouds moving in. They're really starting to fill into our west, and those are going to cover up our ability to get much of any sunshine today. So by 3 o'clock, most of us less than 32 degrees. You can go at 4 and 4 to 5. You can see how the map just lights up with a few more areas of that freezing drizzle, anywhere from here to the south. And then you can see still some of that at 7. Temperatures not on the right side of 32 yet. Still that by 10. So some roads may be okay if you get a little less drizzle. It's going to vary a lot. That's the problem with the patchy stuff. It all depends on if you have drizzle hitting your area, and then you got to watch the temperature that your car is trying to tell you. That will give you an indication of what your roads are doing. Then by 1 o'clock, maybe getting above 32 by a degree or so, and here's a surge of some rain trying to roll in. So anything after 6 a.m. in the metro on Saturday, this surge of warmth, the rising sun should help keep us above 32, but the north edge of this batch easily could still have some freezing rain with it as we go through the early part of Saturday before everybody gets up into the 30s. 36, the morning showers on Saturday, 46 on Sunday, and some 40s on the way for Monday and into Tuesday. But overall, today's the worst day we may have for a little while.
After we get over the hump, it looks really good. Okay, so I know that's top of mind. Today is top of mind, but what also is top of mind is the Christmas holiday. Any more insight on how the weather's working out?
Always trying to look a little longer range. You can kind of see the big picture, and I tell you what, let me show you the weekend before Christmas is showing up here on the 10-day, near 30 on Saturday, 37 on Sunday. No real good chances of snow here, and I will say the odds continue to lean warmer than average from our area to the west. Now, if you want to put some numbers to this, this is the 20th through the 26th, so this is almost the full week of Christmas week itself, with Christmas being on a Wednesday. Right now, I'm thinking highs in the 40s and maybe some 50s.
What?
That really hurts our chances for a white Christmas. Just the way the pattern sets up, all the cold air, all the rain and snow chances might be an East Coast thing.
Whoa.
So keep an eye on that if you got to travel.
Santa's gonna be in his shorts.
And they're already dealing with some intense.
But yeah, they are
dealing with some intense blizzards right now. So
that could be lake effect snow. That could be a huge problem for some airport hubs. So we'll see how it goes. But for us,
no complaints.
Okay.
All right. Unfortunately, we have a new crash in the traffic department to talk about. We can't say no problem for you.
You know, we've been saying about later the travel's going to be. We're having issues this morning.
We really are.
Be on your toes as you're heading out the door. This is a new crash on the JFK. So let's take a look at where this is. This is southbound as you're getting around F with this one. So that's backing traffic up for anyone who's trying to merge in off of eastbound I-80. So this is kind of the opposite of what we had earlier when we had that crash. You could see the delays that are in place. So watch this. Maybe consider an alternate route to make your way southbound. You can utilize the reverse of what we were talking about. 24th, you can go to 13th and make your way southbound to avoid that mess. We've also still got that stalled semi-trailer that's blocking 144th northbound right near Highway Highway 370. There you can see it still being in place. Traffic is being pushed over onto the right shoulder, but you know, that's not ideal. So if you're looking for an alternate route to avoid this is how you can handle this. You can make your way over to I-80 and then just make your way there. And then if you need to, you can exit at 144th and get where you need to go. Those are the biggest issues we have at the moment. You can see elsewhere we're moving along in pretty good shape. We'll keep an eye on these and how things are looking through the metro as we go through the rest of the morning.
All right, Jarrett, thank you. From dominating on the court to being the youngest to ever do it.
We'll tell you who just made a major Forbes list when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. WNBA sensation Caitlin Clark continues piling up awards.
Yeah, she made the Forbes list of the 100 most powerful women in the world. Clark actually rounds out that list. She got the spot, 100, but she made it.
She made it.
At 22, she's also the youngest person on that list. Clark won Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year award earlier this week, so she got 2, essentially.
Yes.
Things are okay for her.
Things are more than okay, I'd say.
The Iowa women beat Iowa State. The Iowa State men beat Iowa. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Okay. I thought this was somehow the curriculum, but no, okay.
I heard Iowa State beat Iowa is what I heard.
all I heard.
So, sorry.
That's all that matters.
Selective hearing,
Oh,
guys.
I love it. I love it.
I'm prone to that, yes.
All right, be extra careful. Both drive in and drive home, right? Thanks so much for joining us. We got to get ready for the update in our today's show. You can watch it here or on the air.
Absolutely. In the meantime, have a great start to your Friday and to your weekend.
Live from WOWT, this is our First Alert 6 weather day.
Good Friday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. We're going to get a check-in on traffic this morning. Big update as far as a crash goes, Jarrett.
This is the JFK where we're looking at southbound traffic now being impacted due to a crash that's in place as you're near F. There you can see the crash that is over on the right-hand side, but we've got all kinds of delays as you're in the lead up to this area. So watch for that if you're merging in off of eastbound I-80. Not the only issue we have this morning either. We also have a semi-trailer that's blocking traffic on 144th northbound at Highway 370. You can get through on the right shoulder, but better option is to make your way over to I-80 and go from there to where you need to go. Elsewhere, we're moving along pretty well. Road conditions are fine this morning. Different story entirely later today. Let's check in with Rusty.
Yeah, it's all because of the freezing drizzle on this first Alert 6 weather day. 31 degrees for the high today. It's dry all the way until about 4 o'clock. After that, we'll get some patchy freezing drizzle moving in. It is going to be a struggle to warm today. We're in the teens right now. We got a long way to go to get to this 32, and it probably doesn't happen until after midnight. So many slick roads this evening and overnight. It's not going to instantly get better. It's something that'll be a little gradual as we go through the overnight. Up to 1/10 of an inch of ice in some spots in our viewing area. That's what the purple shaded is showing us. A winter weather advisory could have some spots a little higher than that north of I-80. Ice storm warning for even more to our east. 13 feels like 0 right now. We got to get from 13 degrees to 32. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen before the areas of freezing drizzle start moving in after 4 o'clock tonight. Aaron?
First Alert 6 spoke with officials here in Omaha to find out how they're preparing to keep you safe today. NDOT is readying dozens of trucks for this afternoon's wintry weather. The city says they plan to have crews out all day long.
And be careful out there. It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.